So here we are going through overview of management information system and information and communication technologies for BESO Business Essential. So the first thing that we must know that information is important for business. Information is important for you as a supervisor or first line manager or middle manager or top level manager. Information is important because information helps you manage firms' resources through supporting the business decision. So information is actually one of the resources, right? So we talked about various resources, and as a manager you have many resources at your disposal, and information is one of those resources. So you have to handle the information as one of the resources because it would help you as a business supervisor and manager to make decisions. Helps you in making decisions. You can't make decisions in vacuum, right? So whenever you have to make a decision, you need information, you need processed data, and then you will study that information and then you will make the decision, right? So information management is very important for you as a business person. So as a business person, with regard to information, what are your responsibilities? So first responsibility is that you must generate the information. So make sure you have information, whatever is needed, and then you must store this information, right? So we know the concept of databases, right? Every information is stored in the database, or sometime data is stored in the database and then information is filtered and converted into information. Second, you must know how to analyze the information. Third, you must know how information has to be made available to everybody who has to make the decision, so that they study the information before making the decision. And maybe last I should say is that you must provide access to all the information that is needed at the right time by the right people. So here we are briefly talking about the difference between data and information. So data is raw, it is input to the information system, and then we from input create output, and this output is processed information, and that is used in decision making. So there is in between some processing happening. That processing can happen through word processor like MS Word, right, where you first of all type something and then format and create a finished document. Or this processing can happen through software like Microsoft Excel, where you create a table, enter the information in the table, and then you process the information through various commands, and then you create the output or the processed information. So these are some of the technologies in which you can do the processing. So these technologies are software like MS Word or MS Excel. To summarize, we can say that information is processed whereas data is raw, and there is processing in between that happens. So it is the processing that converts the raw data into processed information. And when we are dealing with business essentials, sometimes question arises, okay, why we are giving so much importance to information? And the thing is that information is needed by 4 key users in the company. The first key users are top managers, and Top managers use this information to analyze, need information to analyze the broader trends in the economy. So whether economy is on downturn, or is it on recovery, or is it at peak? So they have to make analysis of the external and internal environment. That is why they need information. And on the basis of that, they will make decisions about long range planning, that is planning for the entire company for a long period of time, maybe 5 years. So in order to do all these things, top managers would need information. So they are the key users, first key user of information. Second key user of information are middle level managers. And middle level managers, maybe either those functional or divisional managers like accounts manager, HR manager, marketing manager, operations manager. So these are the managers who have some department or division or a project under their control, and they need information to take care of the projects or departments or divisions under their control. And then information is also needed by first line managers, which we call supervisors also. So these are the operative peoples who are working at the shop floor level of the management, and in order to oversee the day-to-day operations, they would need some information. So it helps them to supervise the projects under their control. And fourth important user of information in the company is knowledge workers. So knowledge workers do some technical jobs. So they have some technical projects on their hand, and they need information for that. For example, knowledge worker would need information on chemical properties of adhesives in a company that is producing the product similar to what is mentioned here, right? So these are four key users of information systems: top managers, middle managers, first line managers, and knowledge workers. Then comes what type of information systems we have. So there are many types of information systems that go in the company. So first type, maybe we can call it transaction processing systems. So the very name suggests transaction, right? So every day when you go out to purchase something from any store, maybe Walmart, maybe a Safeway or any other place, and you purchase something, and at the till when you make a payment and the person gives you receipt, this is all order taking, and this is one of the examples of transaction processing system. So transaction processing systems are used on day-to-day basis in the business transactions. Another example may be payroll processing, which is also transaction processing. Similarly, when we book the airline tickets and the airline receives the order and confirm the reservation, this is also an example of transaction processing system. Then another type of information, which is the main focus here, is management information system, right? So it is something which managers of the company use with regard to making plans, with regard to making schedules, with regard to making budgets, and with regard to preparing all sorts of reports from production to sales reports. So this is overall system, information system that supports an organization's manager. The third type of information systems are decision support systems. The main feature of decision support system is that they are interactives. So when we are talking of systems specifically, so there is always some sort of software involved in information system. So decision support system is that type of software which is interactive. So you start a computer and then you open the software, and this software is interactive. It would ask you some information, and after interacting with you, after you supply the information, it would help you by providing the information, by generating the information that would help you in decision making. For example, one of the managers, Cheryl, inputs data on anticipated level of sales or anticipated level of customer delivery requirements into the decision support system software, and then after this is inputted, the software gives you some information that helps you in making plant capacity decision. So the manager, Cheryl in this case, will be able to decide at what capacity she should operate the plant so that she can meet the anticipated level of sales and customer delivery requirements. So these are decision support system. They are interactive system. When you start the software, they would ask for some information. That information may be, okay, enter what is your anticipated level of sale, you enter it. What is the customer delivery schedule, you enter it, right? What is working capital requirement, you enter it, and then it provides you with the information that helps you in doing something. And in this case, it was making decision at what capacity the plant should be operated. Then some information systems like executive support system, they help executives, the top level managers, in making decisions which are strategic decisions, like what lines of business the business should be in the coming 5 years. So these are very strategic decisions. Every business sells something, right? And these are lines of business. Some companies are producing something, some companies are producing another thing, right? So what are those lines of business in you which you should be in 5 years? If the top executive has to make that decision, then they would definitely need some sort of information system, and those are called ESS, executive support systems. And another type of information systems are called artificial intelligence systems. These systems are the systems which are such that they try to imitate and replicate human behavior, right? So what is the most important thing for us? That is decided by the software. So these are important types of information systems that you may use in business out there. And after all, businesses, when you start a business or when you manage somebody else's business, right? So you want to streamline your business. You want to create some advantages for yourself. You want to create some efficiency for yourself. Now this slide is talking about how information systems and how information and communication technologies help us in our organizational processes. So these are some of these points are mentioned here. First is it helps us in creating better service environment. And second is information systems help us in increased collaboration. So the collaboration may be with suppliers or certain other parties. Moreover, information systems and information communication technologies help us in easy global exchange of products and services. Then these ICTs and IS systems help us in ensuring greater independence of the workplace. Now, for example, there is a manager, like advertising manager. Now, this manager can visit the company maybe once in a week or once in 2 weeks. And the rest of time this person can spend in field or working remotely, because this person is manager of advertising agency and has to work with clients. So this way, this is an example of greater independence of workplace, right? Because information systems and information technologies gives you independence to work remotely. And then improved management decisions, right? Definitely, we have already talked about it. Whenever manager makes decision, it is based on some input, and that input is information, and that information is created by information systems, so they improve our decision making abilities. And new business opportunities can be ascertained. New business opportunities can be identified by using information systems and information and communication technologies. Another way in which ICT and IS can help us is through mass customization. And when we say mass customization, it means it helps you provide a system in which consumer can customize the product. Consumer can pick those features of the product which customer wants, which he or she wants, right? For example, you go to Dell website. Now, once you are at Dell website, what you can do? You may be trying to purchase a computer or laptop over there, right? From Dell company. Now you can customize the features. Okay, you can say, oh, I want the laptop maybe of this color. I want this much RAM. Maybe I want 4 gigs of RAM. Maybe I want 8 gigs of RAM. And maybe I want 16 gigs of RAM. Or what type of processor you want. You want Intel or AMD. What kind of storage you want, the hard drive, whether you want 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes or 500 gigs. So you can specify, you can customize, right? And then you can make the payment, and then company gets to know your order, and then accordingly suppliers are contacted, and accordingly production schedules are planned, and this way product is produced and then it is delivered to the customer as per the promised date. So this is something which came out to be Dell model. So Dell was one of those computer companies who adopted the customization model early on and made huge profits because at that time when Dell adopted it, then at that time other companies were not doing it. So this is how companies can use information systems and information and communication technologies to do customization, which is a win-win situation. Customer gets the product according to the taste, but company kind of is able to generate more sales. Not just sales, but if you see the point, when customer customizes the computer and makes the payment, then Dell company has got the money in advance, and after that it would produce the computer. It is just opposite of what is happening in a retail store. In retail store, somebody will produce the computer first, and then it bring it to the store, put it in a showroom, and then maybe after a week or a month somebody would come and purchase it, right? So the manufacturer has to put all the money in producing the computer first, and then after some time, maybe a month or maybe after a week, somebody purchases it, right? But Dell, through customization, is able to get the payment before even producing it, and the sale is confirmed. So this is a win-win situation, right? Company, Dell company, it helps it manage its finances, and it helps it improve its sales, and customer gets the product according to the choice. So all this mass customization was possible only through IS and ICTs, information systems and information and communication technologies. So for all of this thing to happen for you in your business, few things have to be there, right? So you need some sort of information and communication technologies. You need some sort of computers, devices, and the important things which are ICT building blocks are hardware and software, right? Hardware are the physical components of the computer, like monitor, like printer, like CPU, like keyboard, right, or mouse. So these are physical components of the computer which are called hardware. But then there is a software part, right? Software part is about the programs. These programs tell computer how to function. And broadly speaking, softwares have been divided into two parts: system software, which we also called OS, operating systems, and example of that is Microsoft Windows, right? So it is one of the operating system, and in Apple or Mac computer you use iOS, which is proprietary software of Apple computers. So this operating system or system software puts life into the machine called computer. And after that you install application software. As the name suggests, application softwares are for particular application, right? For example, if you have to write something like letter or do some sort of word processing, then you need MS Word software, Microsoft Word. If you have to create presentation, then you need PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. If you have to create a table and enter data in there, then you need Microsoft Excel. So all these are application software. They are called application softwares because they help you do a particular function. And if you have to do accounting, this is also application software, right? To do accounting or computerized accounting, you may be needing a Sage software or maybe QuickBooks software, right? So these are examples of application softwares which help you do a particular function. And the good thing is, when you are installing computer systems into the company, network systems into the company, right, at that moment you have to make certain decisions, right? So you have to set up sometime the intranets, right? So what is intranet? Intranet is a private network of internal or internal websites, and information is available only to the company employees or internal stakeholders of the company, or you can call it approved users of the company. So I have added two more words: internal stakeholders and approved users. So these are also called corporate networks, intranets, because these are private to the company. For example, when you log on to ecampuslife.ca, this is an intranet. So you are approved user, therefore you can log in. So this is not available to each and every person who is on internet. So other people can browse the internet, but they can't come to ecampuslife.ca because it is a private network of internal websites by CDI, and it is accessible only by company employees, company staff, internal stakeholders, or any other approved users like students. And extranet is also private network, but the thing is that in extranet you are able to connect industrial suppliers, right? For example, whenever you are a manufacturer, when you are producing something, you would need parts and you have to purchase those parts. Maybe those parts are provided by some vendors called suppliers. For example, Ford company, it produces cars and trucks, but it may need to contact some suppliers who can produce leather seats for them, and those leather seats Ford would buy and install it in their cars and trucks. So those suppliers are external parties, but they can be part of the extranet. So extranet, as the name suggests, some external parties like industrial suppliers are also part of extranet. Then comes the question of whether you want networks which are local area networks or you want wide area networks. And then the question of local area network LAN versus a wide area network WAN comes into picture. So you have to make a decision. So if you are situated in a small area, if your business is situated in a small area, a one room or a small showroom, right, and then you link those computers and you connect them, and it is now called a network, and this network is in one company or a small area or one room. This is called LAN, local area network. And this linking of computers and workstation can be done through fiber optics or other sort of wires or cables. And when you are situated in a wide area, then you need a WAN, wide area network. For example, Walmart, right? It has more than 2,000 retail stores, right? And it has headquarters as well. So when they have to connect all the computers and networks, maybe using private satellite, and then they would definitely need something called wide area network. And because their stores are located over a wide area, or we can say over long distances. So for long distances, you would need wide area network, and the connection may not happen through wires and cables, but it may happen through satellite and new emerging technologies. So far we have talked about good things, benefits of information systems and information and communication technologies. But there are some risks as well. There are some threats as well. When you set up your business and you set up your own information system in your business, whether it is transaction processing system or any other system, you will now have to make sure that your system is protected. There is no threats from hackers or perpetrators who are trying to get unauthorized access to your system, right? So because things are important, right, you don't want any kind of what we call unauthorized access to important information like credit card information, right? So if these are stored in your databases, then you don't want that somebody with malified intention should get unauthorized access to important information, or somebody should be able to steal your copyrighted information, like download your music in an unauthorized way, or download the movies in an unauthorized way without payment, right? So in order to protect your data, in order to protect your intellectual property, you need to take some security measures, and you need to take some protection measures, right? Some measures are biometric measures, right, where the access to system is allowed by your fingerprints or thumb impression. But some measures are also non-biometric measures like firewalls, right? Firewall is like a hardware and software which is installed, and it helps you protect your computers from hackers and perpetrators, right, who may be located on the internet and may be through unauthorized way trying to access your internal network, right? So the firewall would kind of stop that attempt or block that attempt. And encryption is when you are sending your message over the internet, you want to code it. So you convert the plain text into coded text, and then you send the coded text so nobody can intercept that text, or nobody can read that text when it is traveling over the internet. So information is coded, and this is done through encryption software. So when it travels over the internet, it is coded through encryption, but when it is received by the recipient, then there is a key given to that recipient. That person converts the coded message into plain text and then is able to read it. But when it is traveling over the internet, at that time the information is coded. So this is done through encryption software. So overall, you have to make sure as a business manager that my information system is protected. So you have to use some security measures like biometrics or non-biometrics like firewalls and encryption software. So this way you have to take precautions to make sure that I have information system. Yes, my information systems are creating right kind of information. Yes, this information is provided to right people at right time so that they can use it in making decisions. Yes, and my information system is protected, so through certain security measures, so that there is no unauthorized access to that, so that valuable information does not go to the wrong persons. So these are your responsibilities as a business person with regard to information, which is now emerging as a full-fledged resource.